Imani kneels beneath the ancient baobab tree, her palms pressed together in reverence. Her body remains still, but her spirit reaches higher, stretching through the winds and the vast sky. Her voice rises with the rhythmic chanting, calling the ancestors for guidance. Each word is a thread connecting her to the past, seeking answers for the loss of her husband. Her mind is focused, but her heart trembles. The air hums around her, thick with a presence that feels both sacred and foreboding. She prays, hoping the ancestors will hear her plea. The wind stirs, first gently, then with an unsettling force. It sweeps around her, carrying whispers, an eerie mix of ancient laughter and sorrow. Her chanting falters for a brief moment. The wind swirls in a circle carrying secrets of the past, forgotten voices, lost times. Something is different. Something is wrong. The air thickens, pressing down on her chest. She can feel it, an ancient energy creeping in, seeping through the very earth beneath her. It isn't just the ancestors answering. It is something older, darker, moving in the shadows of the land. The chill in the air is palpable, and the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. The atmosphere grows heavy, and Imani feels the shift. Her connection to the spirits deepens, but with it comes an uncomfortable pressure, like an invisible weight crushing her chest. She shudders but doesn't stop. The baobab tree above her creaks and groans, its massive branches stirring, as if the land itself is awakening. The earth trembles slightly beneath her feet, and for the first time, Imani feels the undeniable presence of something powerful, something that should not be disturbed. She presses harder into the earth, grounding herself, but the energy surges around her. It is not the calm and peace she sought. It is a warning. Suddenly, a low rumble shakes the air. The ground quivers beneath Imani's knees, and the sky above shifts unnaturally. The stars blink out one by one, swallowed by an ominous, inky blackness. The wind howls, turning violent, as if the heavens themselves are in turmoil. The villagers, scattered across the land, stop in their tracks. Their eyes widen in horror as the darkness consumes them, the once bright sky now a void. The roar of distant thunder echoes through the land. A dreadful silence follows. Imani's heart pounds in her chest. The darkness is too thick, too unnatural. It is not the eclipse of nature. It is the hand of something far more ancient, far more powerful. As the sky trembles and the darkness thickens, Imani's pulse quickens. She realizes the truth with a sinking feeling in her gut. The eclipse was no coincidence. It was a sign, a mark of a disturbed balance. Her prayer, meant to call the ancestors to her aid, has torn a rift. She has disturbed the ancient forces, and they have responded in kind. The weight of her actions crashes down on her like a wave. She has not merely invoked the spirits. She has called forth something much more dangerous. Fear claws at her heart as she wonders what else she has awakened, what else she has unleashed into the world. The village is silent. No voices rise in shock or outrage. The people stand still, paralyzed by the unnatural dark that blankets the sky. Imani, once a beloved figure, is now the source of this calamity. The villagers' whispers are hushed, laced with fear and disbelief. They no longer see her as the grieving wife. She is the one who has called down the wrath of the sky itself, the one who has disrupted the peace of the land. Her heart aches as she feels the weight of their eyes upon her. They are no longer her community. They are now fearful, suspicious, unsure of her. Imani stands frozen, her body still, but her mind races. The sky above her is a swirling mass of darkness. The earth beneath her feet trembles, as if the very land is unsure of its fate. The villagers look on in fear, their faces masked with confusion and horror. She feels the weight of their gaze, their judgment. This is no longer a matter of seeking help. This is a test. The forces of the past have awakened, and Imani must decide whether to face them or retreat. Will she surrender to the fear that clutches at her heart, or will she rise to the challenge? The choice she makes now will shape the future of Adebayo. What path will she choose, and will it lead to salvation or to her undoing? The silence around her presses in, suffocating as the tension builds. The fate of her village, of the land itself, rests in her hands. What will Imani do next? The village of Adebayo stands beneath the endless sky, its ancient rituals the pulse that keeps life flowing. The air hums with the weight of the past, and the people move in rhythm with the land's heartbeat. Here the spirits are not myths, but living forces that guide, protect, and, when angered, destroy. The ancestors' presence is woven into every tree, every river, every stone. For the villagers, there is no separating the spiritual from the physical. The land, the people, and the ancestors are bound together, their fates tied to each other's whims. Imani walks the village paths, her eyes searching the familiar faces of her people. Her heart beats with the pulse of the land. Yet something is wrong. Her husband, Durojaye, the village protector and warrior, has vanished without a trace. For days there has been no sign of him, no whispers in the wind, no dreams of his return. His absence is a wound that grows deeper with each passing hour. The village stirs with unease. The elders gather, their eyes full of unspoken fears. They mutter of things unseen. Darker forces at work. The rumors spread like wildfire, their whispers carrying dread into every corner of Adebayo. Some speak of the spirit's anger, others of betrayal from within. A figure of darkness is mentioned, in hushed tones. Someone who has brought this suffering upon them. The thought of revenge lingers in the air like smoke, choking the life from hope. But it's not just the villagers who fear something amiss. Imani, too, feels it deep within her. The pull of an ancient reckoning. What force, what evil, has stolen Durojaye from their midst? Could it be a betrayal, as some suggest, or is something far older at play? The land itself seems to shudder with the weight of the question. The elders, desperate for an answer, call for a blood sacrifice. The spirits must be appeased, they say, or else the village will be lost. The idea shakes the people, filling them with dread. To spill blood is not a choice lightly made. It is a path that demands more than it gives. A road that, once taken, cannot be undone. But the elders insist. The land is angry, and only blood can quiet it. Imani's heart thunders in her chest as she listens to their words, her eyes clouded with sorrow. She cannot accept this path. To give blood in exchange for safety is not the way the ancestors work. They do not seek vengeance. They seek balance. If her husband is lost, there must be another way to restore the peace. But the villagers do not agree. The ground beneath her feels unstable as the tension in the village thickens. Imani stands at the crossroads of tradition and truth. Her respect for the old ways pulls at her, but her desire to know the truth of Durojaye's disappearance burns brighter. She faces a decision that could tear apart the very fabric of her life and her community. To follow the path of sacrifice would mean giving in to fear, to the unknown. To follow her heart and search for the truth might bring even greater danger. But it is the only path that feels right. What will she choose? And in choosing, what will she lose? A presence stirs within the land. It is an ancient force, one that has lain dormant for centuries. Imani can feel it, a whisper in her ear, a shadow on the edge of her vision. The spirit of the old king, the first ruler of Adebayo, calls to her from the depths of the past. She dreams of his face, his eyes dark with unspoken secrets. The village shudders, its foundation quivering beneath the weight of what is about to come. The balance is tipping, and Imani feels it all. The growing unease in the air, the tension in the earth, the spirits restive in their slumber. Something has been awakened. But what? Afolabi, the village storyteller, approaches her, his face worn with age but shadowed with worry. He warns her of the dangers of searching too deeply. Some truths, he says, are better left buried. His words are heavy, like stones, and they weigh on Imani's heart. What is he not telling her? What truth is so dark, so dangerous, that even an elder fears to speak of it? His eyes are clouded with fear, a fear she has never seen in him before. She listens to his warning, but it only stirs the storm inside her. She cannot stop now. Not when the stakes are so high. The veil between the living and the dead grows thinner. Imani can feel it, like a fraying rope about to snap. The boundary is no longer clear. She hears whispers in the wind, voices that are not her own. Memories of the past that are not meant to be remembered. The spirits grow restless. The earth quakes beneath her feet. She can hear the cries of the ancestors, warning her, calling to her. Each step she takes toward the truth seems to bring her closer to something terrible, something unforgiving. The land trembles, and she knows that whatever comes next will shape the future of Adebayo forever. Imani stands alone, her resolve firm. Despite the warnings, despite the fear that coils in her chest, she will not stop. Durojaye's disappearance is no mere mystery. It is a call, a challenge from the spirits. She feels the storm within her, growing stronger, a force that cannot be ignored. The truth must be found, no matter the cost. If the village is to survive, it will be because she dares to face the darkness, to stand against the forces that threaten to tear them apart. But the question remains, will she succeed in her search? Or will the spirits demand a price too high for anyone to pay? Darkness settles over Adebayo like a heavy cloak. The prayer that was meant to bring peace has instead unleashed chaos. The animals, once abundant and joyful, vanish without a trace. The crops that had flourished under the sun wither as if touched by an unseen hand. The once vibrant village now lies still, shrouded in a strange unease. The air is thick with dread. The people murmur, their faces shadowed by fear, as though something ancient has awoken. A sense of loss hangs in the air, palpable and suffocating. The land itself seems to mourn, and in the distance, a storm gathers on the horizon. The village, once united, is now fractured, consumed by an unspoken terror that tightens with every passing day. Imani moves through the village, searching for answers in the heavy silence. She knows something is terribly wrong, but the spirits offer no guidance. Desperation claws at her heart. She turns to the sacred texts, the ancient scrolls that have always brought clarity in times of darkness. She whispers the words, hoping to hear the voices of the ancestors, but they remain silent. Each prayer falls into the void, unanswered. The pages seem to mock her, offering no wisdom, no direction. In the stillness, her mind is consumed by the haunting vision of her husband. Durojaye is missing, and with each passing day, his absence feels like a deeper wound. She can feel his presence in the air, but it's twisted, distorted, as though something has taken root in him. Something dark and foreign. Then the visions come. Durojaye stands before her, but his eyes are cold, empty, like the hollow eyes of a stranger. His face, once warm and familiar, is now a mask of something she does not recognize. The love they shared feels distant, like a memory slipping through her fingers. She reaches for him, but he turns away, his gaze unfocused, distant. She tries to speak his name, but no sound comes, only the echo of her own fear. What happened to him? What has changed? The questions gnaw at her, clawing at her mind. The answers slip just out of reach, and with each vision, the uncertainty grows. The man she loved, the protector of their people, is lost, and in his place stands something terrifyingly unfamiliar. The villagers begin to whisper, their voices full of suspicion. The fear that has taken hold of the land spills into their hearts. Whispers of betrayal swirl in the air, accusations whispered in the shadows. The elders, once her trusted guides, now look at her with suspicion. Her prayer, meant to seek guidance, is now blamed for the misfortune that plagues them all. The land is cursed, they say, and it is her fault. She called upon forces she should not have touched, stirred something ancient and unforgiving. They blame her for the suffering of the village, for the loss of Durojaye, for the withering of their crops. She feels the weight of their gazes, the coldness in their voices. The village that once rallied behind her now stands divided. Fear has turned them against her, and the walls of isolation close in around her. Imani seeks counsel from Afolabi, the wise elder and storyteller. His words, though steeped in wisdom, only add to the confusion in her heart. Some things should remain forgotten, he warns, his voice low and heavy with meaning. His cryptic words send a chill through her. What is he hiding? What truths does he know that he dare not speak? She presses him for answers, but he only shakes his head, his eyes filled with sorrow. The spirits will not be trifled with, he says, his voice barely a whisper. Some things are better left buried, for the truth is a heavy burden. It can destroy everything you know. Imani feels a wave of frustration wash over her, but there is no time for hesitation. The land is dying, the villagers are turning against her, and the truth about Durojaye still eludes her. With no other choice, Imani ventures deep into the forest, to the tomb of the old king. The place is ancient, its power woven into the very fabric of the land. It is a place of secrets, hidden away for generations. Imani believes it holds the answers she seeks, the key to understanding what has happened to Durojaye, to the village, and to the land itself. The journey is perilous, but there is no turning back. As she walks deeper into the forest, the air grows thick with tension. The whispers of the past seem to call to her, urging her forward. She is driven by a need to understand, to uncover the truth that has been hidden for so long. But with each step, the weight of what she is about to discover presses heavier upon her chest. Inside the tomb, Imani uncovers a truth that shatters everything she believed. The walls are covered with ancient symbols, their meanings lost to time. As she moves through the darkness, she finds a hidden chamber, a place where the past and the present collide. There, in the heart of the tomb, she discovers the terrible secret that has been buried for generations. The truth about Durojaye's disappearance, about the curse that haunts Adebayo, and about the ancient forces that have been awakened. The discovery is too much to bear. The truth is a wound too deep, and it threatens to unravel everything Imani has ever known. Her world tilts, and she is forced to confront a reality she never imagined. The discovery at the tomb changes everything. The truth she uncovers forces Imani to reckon with the past, with the spirits, and with her own role in the destruction of her village. The path forward is unclear, and the stakes have never been higher. Imani is faced with an impossible choice: to confront the forces that have been awakened, or to turn away, forever haunted by the knowledge of what has been lost. The fate of Adebayo hangs in the balance, and Imani knows that whatever decision she makes, it will come with a price. The ground trembles beneath Imani's feet, A deep, forgotten force stirs, unseen but undeniable. She stands before the ancient king's tomb, the air thick with the weight of centuries. The earth shifts, groaning as if it is waking from a long slumber. A crack splits the surface, wide and jagged, sending dust rising in the air. The tomb, long forgotten, is not as still as it seems. Imani's heart races. Her hand moves to steady herself, but her fingers brush against something. Cold, smooth. The crack widens, and beneath it, a faint glow begins to emerge. Her breath catches. From the heart of the crack, a sword rises, shimmering in the dim light. The blade is adorned with runes, ancient and unfamiliar. Power radiates from it, filling the air with a hum. The sword feels alive, as though it has been waiting for this moment. Imani's hand hovers above it, uncertain but drawn to its energy. The sword is a key, she realizes. But to what? To salvation or destruction? Before she can grasp the answer, figures begin to move in the shadows around her. Silent, masked, and cloaked in darkness, they step into view. Their eyes gleam like embers in the night, and their presence sends a chill down Imani's spine. The air shifts with their arrival, heavy and suffocating. The figures do not speak, but their movements are deliberate. Their eyes are fixed on her, and she can feel their intent, cold and unyielding. There is no escape. From behind them, a voice rises, low and steady, carrying with it a cruel certainty. The figure steps forward, his face now visible. A face she once knew, but now twisted with an unearthly fire. His eyes burn, not with the warmth of a friend, but with a fire that threatens to consume everything. "Imani," he says, his voice like ice. "Did you think you could escape the truth?" Imani's breath catches in her throat. The truth crashes into her heart like a wave. This is not just a betrayal. It is a deep, ancient conspiracy. Afolabi, the trusted elder, the wise storyteller, has been the one pulling the strings all along. The pain of realization hits her like a blow. Her voice trembles, but she forces the words out. "It was you. You led me here, to this tomb, to the ruin of Adebayo." A dark smile curls on Afolabi's lips, a smile that no longer belongs to the man she once admired. His voice is mocking, cruel. "You see now, don't you? All of this destruction, this chaos, it was all part of the plan. Adebayo was doomed the moment you prayed for guidance. It was never meant to be saved." Imani's heart pounds in her chest as the truth sinks deeper. The village, Durojaye, the spirits, all of it. Afolabi's betrayal runs deeper than she imagined, wrapped in the very fabric of the village's history. But why? Why bring destruction to the land they both loved? "You betrayed your own people for power?" she demands, her voice shaking with anger. "You awakened the spirits of darkness. Power?" Afolabi interrupts with a laugh. "I didn't seek power. I sought freedom. Freedom from the chains of this cursed land, from the past that has kept us bound. But now—" He pauses, and his smile widens. "Now the end begins. It is your turn now, Imani. The forces that have been awakened will consume all." Imani feels a shift beneath her feet, and the ground trembles again, more violently this time. From the depths of the tomb, an ancient, incomprehensible force begins to rise. The very earth seems to groan in agony as something beyond time stirs beneath the surface. A presence, old and malevolent, unfurls from the depths, spreading like a dark cloud, seeking to engulf everything in its path. Imani stands firm, the sword glowing in her hands. She has no time to hesitate. The knowledge she has gained, the ancient power within the sword, surges through her. But it is not enough. Not yet. She must confront the force that has been awakened, the force that seeks to destroy Adebayo. She tightens her grip on the sword, feeling the weight of the destiny before her. The tomb's darkness presses in around her, but she does not falter. "I will stop you," she declares, her voice unwavering. "I will protect Adebayo, even if it means my life." The air crackles with tension. The force rising from the tomb grows stronger, more intense. But so does Imani. The sword in her hand hums with ancient power, ready to be wielded against the darkness. She steps forward, towards the heart of the tomb, towards the rising power, towards the final confrontation. With each step, the ground trembles more violently. The shadows seem to close in around her, but she does not look back. This battle will decide the fate of her people, of her village, of the spirits who watch from beyond. She grips the sword with resolve, knowing that the fate of Adebayo rests in her hands. The time for hesitation is over. She must face the darkness, and she will not run. The sword hums louder, its energy growing as the final battle begins. The forces of the past clash with the will of the present, and the earth itself seems to hold its breath. The fate of Adebayo and Imani herself is about to be decided. The darkness lifts, but the damage remains. The sky clears, but Adebayo, once vibrant and full of life, lies in ruins. Broken homes, with walls cracked open, stand as silent witnesses to the destruction unleashed. Fields that once stretched in fertile abundance now lay barren, the crops withered and forgotten. The air is heavy with grief, the scent of ash lingering in the wind. The village, now a shadow of its former self, bears the marks of the ancient, forces that were set loose. The laughter, the songs, the life that once thrived here, all gone. A deep silence hangs over the land. Imani walks through the wreckage, her heart heavy with the burden of what was lost. Her eyes fall upon the path that once led to the heart of the village, now overgrown with weeds and dust. She knows what she must do, but it is a truth she cannot unsee, a truth she will carry forever. Afolabi, the man who had deceived them all, is gone. The darkness he unleashed has consumed him, swallowed him whole, leaving only an empty, twisted legacy of destruction. His body, once familiar and full of wisdom, now lies in the void of the very power he sought to control. The village is rid of him, but the pain of his betrayal will not fade so easily. The villagers, once blind to Afolabi's lies, now stand in stunned silence. They have learned the painful truth. The man they trusted, the elder they looked to for guidance, was the very force behind their suffering. The weight of the revelation falls heavily on their hearts. The once strong bond between the people of Adebayo has cracked, shattered like the walls of their homes. Betrayal runs deep, and trust, once broken, is not easily rebuilt. Imani feels the eyes of the villagers upon her, but she cannot look away from the destruction that surrounds them. She knows that justice has been served, but it is not the victory she had hoped for. She did not ask for this, did not seek the pain of discovery, but she could not ignore the truth, even when it came at such a great cost. The price of uncovering hidden things is always steep, and now the weight of it presses on her soul. Before the silent baobab tree, Imani stops. The ancient tree, twisted and gnarled, stands like a monument to time, holding secrets in its bark and leaves. The wind stirs through its branches, but it does not speak. It only listens. Imani places a hand on its rough surface, feeling its steady pulse. A reminder that some things, once uncovered, can never be undone. The truth she has uncovered will stay with her forever, changing the village and herself in ways she cannot yet fully understand. Some truths should remain buried, she whispers to the tree, as if seeking its forgiveness. The baobab remains silent, its roots deep in the earth, its branches reaching for the sky. It has seen it all before. The rise and fall of kingdoms, the pain of betrayal, the weight of lost dreams. And it endures, just as the people of Adebayo must. The village is divided. No one can ignore the scars that now run through the heart of Adebayo. The unity that once held them together has been torn apart by Afolabi's treachery, and the power that was unleashed has left deep wounds in the land and the people. But even in the face of destruction, there is a glimmer of hope. It is fragile, like a flame in the wind, but it is there. And Imani knows she must guide them through the aftermath. She cannot undo the past, but she can help shape the future. With each step, she takes on the mantle of leadership, understanding that rebuilding will take more than just effort. It will take trust in the ancestors, trust in the land, and trust in each other. The path ahead is uncertain, and the wounds of the past run deep. But Imani is not afraid. She stands tall, her resolve hardening. The loss will always be with her, but she will honor it. She will rebuild, not just for herself, but for the future of Adebayo, a future where the villagers will remember the lessons learned in the darkest of times, a future where the bond of unity will be restored, not in the same way it once was, but stronger, forged through the fire of truth and pain. Imani turns away from the baobab, her heart heavy but full of purpose. The ancestors watch over her, and though the road ahead is long, she is ready. Adebayo may be in ruins, but she will see it rise again. She will embrace the path forward, carrying the weight of the past with grace, for the future depends on it. The sky clears, but darkness lingers. The once vibrant village of Adebayo stands in the quiet aftermath. The air, thick with the dust of destruction, has shifted. The storms that tore through the land have passed, leaving behind a stillness. Yet, even as the earth breathes again, a deep, invisible wound remains. Imani stands in the midst of the rubble, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. The physical scars of the village may heal, but the spiritual scars, the heavy cost of the truth uncovered, will never fade. A heavy silence surrounds her. The villagers, who once looked to her for hope, now turn away, their eyes filled with uncertainty. They were all touched by the powers she unleashed, and now they must live with the consequences. Imani's thoughts drift to the forbidden path. She walked. The answers she sought were not meant to be found. Now she understands that some things are best left buried. Some truths are far too dangerous to uncover. She kneels among the broken stones, the sharp edges cutting into her skin. But she doesn't care. The pain is a reminder of the cost of seeking knowledge, a painful lesson she has learned too late. The spirits had whispered their warnings, but she had ignored them. Now, the spirits are silent, leaving her to face the truth alone. The truth that some truths, once revealed, change everything. The price of power is a steep one, and the ancestors' will is not to be controlled. Imani, in her desperation to save her people, tried to manipulate the forces that should have been respected. The power she sought was never a gift. It was a force, an ancient energy that demands reverence. She realizes now that she had tried to bend it to her will, thinking she could use it for good, not understanding that such power is not a tool to be wielded. It is a living, breathing force that cannot be controlled. The ancestors' power is meant to guide, to protect, not to be tampered with. She feels the weight of this truth settle in her bones. As the first light of dawn rises over Adebayo, Imani watches the village begin to heal. The flames of destruction have died down, and the people are starting to rebuild, but the lessons of the past remain. The land may be mending, but the scars are deep. The village will never be the same, and neither will she. Her heart is heavy with the knowledge that the price of power is steep, and sometimes the cost is more than one can bear. Imani stands at the edge of the village looking out at the horizon. The land is healing, but she knows it will never forget the darkness that was unleashed. She carries the weight of that darkness with her, a weight that will follow her for the rest of her life. Even as the sun rises, its light feels different to her. It is no longer the light of hope. It is the light of a new beginning, but one that is shadowed by the mistakes of the past. She feels the spirits stir, but they do not speak. They do not offer comfort. Imani has learned that some actions, even those taken with the best of intentions, can alter the very fabric of existence. She cannot undo what has been done, but she can try to move forward. The ancestors speak, not with words, but with a deep, unspoken understanding. They have watched and they have seen the price of tampering with their power. It is not for manipulation. It is for reverence. Imani knows now that she must honor the spirits, not try to control them. She bows her head, acknowledging their wisdom, understanding the weight of the responsibility they place on her shoulders. She will no longer seek to control the spirits, but instead will serve them, guided by their wisdom. Adebayo begins to heal, slowly but surely. The land, though scarred, is resilient. It will mend in time, but the cost will never be forgotten. Imani knows that she will carry the weight of her actions with her for the rest of her days. The village will rebuild, and life will continue, but the shadows of the past will always remain. The ancestors have spoken, and Imani has learned her lesson. Now she must find a way to guide her people, honoring the spirits while helping them find their way forward in a world that will never be the same. She stands, her resolve firm. The land will heal, but she knows that it is the people who must truly find a way to move on, for they are the ones who will carry the memories of the past, and Imani will guide them, one step at a time, on the difficult road ahead.